Before we begin coding our website, let's go over and wireframe out our website and quickly do a quick drawing of how we want our website to look and how we want to present our content within our website. So essentially, we're going to create several content container areas, and then within those areas we can add in the different pieces of content. So first off, we're going to create a head section. So this is where all of our header content will go that we're going to utilize within the website. Next, we're going to create a navigation bar, and this navigation bar is going to actually need to move around, so we might be able to place it within our head section and contain that within there so that we can utilize it. So we can create one whole head section here and then add in some pieces in here. So maybe here we could have a logo, and then up here we'd have our navigation buttons. So we could do something like this. So you kind of see this typically done within websites where we've got an outline here and we've got our nav up there and our logo. So next, we need to have an area where we want to add in some additional content that we want to display out from our website. So we want to make our website essentially a two-column website, and we want the initial index page to have maybe a really big opening image here to really get those the attention of the users that are coming in to access our website. And then next, we're going to create a container area, and that container area will have a regular container area and a sidebar. So I'm going to keep as one piece there as one section, and then create some content there and another content area for a sidebar. So maybe that could take up that whole section there. So we create something like this where we've got a container there and we've got a sidebar here, and I'm going to move this down so it's in line with that other one and give it a little bit of padding there, spacing off the side. And then lastly, what does every website need? So we've got a header, we've got our content area, and lastly we do need a footer section. So this will act as our footer area there, and we can add in all of our footer content within there. So essentially this is what we want our basic website layout to look like. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 main container areas, and then on the regular pages we're just going to have the header, the content area, and the footer. So we're not going to keep this intro part here that we're looking at within the center. And because we want to make this website mobile ready, we have to create a mobile version as well. So this will be for the smaller size screens. We're going to compress the head information, so we're going to move the navigation to be one of those clickable menus with 3 lines. So we'll create one of those, and that's going to be done through Bootstrap. Over here we can keep our content, maybe our logo, and so on. We're going to have those 4 container areas. So we're going to have our main image there, main content there on the index page only. So this is just for the index page, and we're not going to keep it across all of our pages. And then next we're going to give these ones full width across. So we've got our main content area and our sidebar, so they're going to stack one on top of the other. So essentially they're still going to be in that one main container, but then there's going to be 2 containers within there which are going to take up full screen width. So I'm going to make a quick adjustment on that so it lines up, and then we're going to have another one in there. And essentially what basically this is looking like, this is just going to stack all of them in line together, and then lastly the footer. So essentially our mobile screen is going to be a compacted version of what our main desktop is going to look like. So we're going to have that same area here at the top, and then container area. So we're going to have all of those different content areas as well. So up here we're going to have our head area. Here is going to be the same as this one. This one is going to be the same as this one, and this one is going to be the same as that, and then the footer at the bottom. So 4 main sections, and these ones are going to stack one on top of the other, so it's going to actually look like 5, but we're going to keep the contents within those 4 main content areas. So let's begin coding. Hi, and welcome to our introductory course on how to build a website from scratch. My name is Lawrence, and I'm going to be your instructor for this course, and I'm so excited to have the opportunity to present this course to you. I come to you with over 16 years of web development experience, and one of my favorite things to do is to build websites. I really enjoy the aspect of being able to create HTML code and then add CSS styling, and then of course JavaScript to add that additional functionality to your websites. In this course, I'm going to be presenting how to start out with a basic design. So this is our basic design of our website, where we've got several sections of our website. We've got a desktop view and a mobile view, and how we want these sections to line up depending on the screen size. So this is what we're going to be starting with, and then we're going to create our HTML structure. So the HTML structure is going to be prepared and ready to handle CSS. And as you can see here within this screenshot, we've got some of the structure that's available here, where we're dividing it into different sections, and then those sections we're going to use to apply styling to and actually move them around depending on the screen size. So all of these different areas are going to be sectioned off in the HTML code, and we're going to apply styling to really make it come to life. And as you can see, this is an example of one of the websites that we're going to be building within the course. You can see whenever we're resizing, we see that the navigation menu resizes, so it's a fully responsive, ready-to-go website, and we can see that whenever we click, we get brand new pages. So the template is changing. We've got a different template for our index page, our introductory page, as we do for about and products and contact. So we also see that the menu is resizing, and we are going to show you different ways to implement these responsive navigation menus, because they are ever so important for web visitors coming to your website so that they can all be able to interact properly with your website. So I'm going to show you different ways to set these navigation menus up. There is some that are just styling, and then others that we apply a little bit of JavaScript to in order to add that functionality of the menus. All of the source code and resources that I'm going to be using within this course are also included, so that you too can work alongside with the course lessons and practice and develop your own website, updating your HTML and CSS skills as you progress through the course. So when you're ready, let's begin creating a website from scratch. Welcome to our course on building a website from scratch. So some of the resources that I'm going to be using throughout the course, which I've got open right now on my screen. So just over here on the left hand side, this is brackets. This is a brackets editor. It's from Adobe. And then on the right hand side, I've got my live preview available. And the really neat thing about brackets is it comes with this live preview. And as you can see, when I type something here on the left hand side, it shows up in the live preview on the right hand side. So this saves me quite a bit of trouble of going back and forth, and I can actually see what's happening when I add in some code within real time. And if you're looking for an editor, if you already have an editor, you can go ahead and use that. But if you're looking for a brand new editor to try out, Brackets is from Adobe. It's available, it's free to download. Open source text editor, works across multiple platforms, and there's some really good information here at the brackets.io website. There's also a lot of really nice popular extensions. And I'm also going to be using it within this course. Some of the other resources that I'm using in the course are placeholder, which gives you the ability to place placeholder images within your website, and this is great when you're designing websites because this gives you the ability to really add in content and make it look as a normal website would with all the content in place. There's also blindtextgenerator.com, and this is the same thing where we're going to be adding in some extra text there, placeholder text, and it allows us to generate lorem ipsum text So this is just some dummy text that we can utilize within our build when we're building out our website. And another resource that I'm going to be using within this course, so this is Glyphy, glyphy.com, and this is where I'm going to create the wireframe for the website that I'm going to be building within the course. So you can use any editing software. So this is just gives me the ability to really easily kind of sketch out what I want the website to look like and then be able to present it in a JPEG, and then we can refer back to it as we build out the website. And this is always a good idea when you're building out your website to sketch something out and you get a rough idea of what you want your website to look like, and then you build towards it. So I'm going to be using this for wireframing, and you could use a number of other resources including Adobe Photoshop, and there are some wireframing applications as well that are really useful and you can really quickly build out. But I'm just going to simply build out a very boxy type outline of the website that I'm building, and so the glyphy.com is going to be sufficient for the needs of this course. So another thing that I'm using a browser, Chrome browser, and the really nice thing about Chrome is that we get access to dev tools. So this is that console that just opened up. I'm on a Windows machine, so I can open up the developer tools with Control-Shift-I, or I can go in the menu over here, click to open the developer tools. And what the developer tools do is they give you the ability to take a quick peek at your HTML code. You can also see your CSS, so we've got the box model over here, so I can select an element and I can see some basic information from the CSS. I can see where the margins are, and I can get a better idea of what I need to adjust if I do need to make some adjustments. So another really useful tool is Chrome, because it really does have a lot of capabilities. And also if you're developing some JavaScript code, you've got the console here so you can communicate back and forth. There's sources, network, timeline, profiles, and a bunch of other stuff here as well. Really useful. We also have access to the DOM, so we can see all those DOM properties here available right within the browser. So we are definitely going to be utilizing this. And also another tool that I'm going to be using, but it's not actually necessary for you if you want to get your website up and running, and this is going to be XAMPP. And XAMPP essentially lets me run an Apache server on my local machine, so I can go over to localhost when I start it up and I can actually run PHP code. But the course is going to be based on HTML and CSS, which only needs a browser to run. But I do like to run the localhost so that I can actually simulate the way the website is going to be presented on the domain. So this is also an option to have this running if you want to do some development, especially if you want to add in some PHP capabilities and database capabilities to your website and try that out. Then XAMPP is definitely one of the best resources to get up and running quickly. So this is available across Windows, Linux, and OS X. And the website apachefriends.org. And you can find out some more information about XAMPP. Relatively easy to set up. You can just click to set up, and then you can set up in the configuration files where the source of your website, where your source files are in order to run your website, or you could just download it to their default folder that's going to be set up on your machine when you set up XAMPP. So again, not absolutely necessary, but it is a good resource and a good tool to have when you are doing your development. So also, we're going to be starting out with a basic HTML5 template. So we've got a basic outline here all ready to go. So we've got our HTML code, our head and body, and we're linking over to a style.css file, which is just over here, that I've got both files open right now, and we're going to use them to develop the website. So all of this ready to go, and in the next lesson we're going to start adding some code and creating our website from scratch. And of course the website's going to be fully responsive. We're also going to be utilizing some Bootstrap in order to make our menu more responsive. Bootstrap provides an easy way to make responsive menus. And if you're not familiar with Bootstrap, Bootstrap is available at getbootstrap.com. And what Bootstrap is this is a framework that allows you to rapidly develop web content. So predominantly it's essentially a CSS file that allows you to create fully responsive websites just by adding classes in your HTML. And then there's also some JavaScript components, and these are based in jQuery, and these are also really useful regular things that you'd be adding in a website, and it's already pre-configured. So all you have to do is access it via, you need to add in jQuery and the Bootstrap JavaScript file, and then you have full access to all of this capabilities, and all you have to do is place it within your HTML. But we're just going to predominantly be looking in Bootstrap utilizing the responsive menu, because Bootstrap provides a really nice component here for responsive menus, and we're going to be utilizing that within this course as well. So let's start coding and creating our website.